Okay, picking up on a conversation we had on a previous post, um, you know, if you wake up on two different days, you might come to two different conclusions on what you need to do or don't do. I was extolling the virtue of heavier picks, I think, in the last video, and I was watching a different video trying to educate myself and get some hints myself to improve my playing. And some guy sort of pointed out that if you're going to do a lot of strumming, it might be better to use a light pick. Well, I went out and I got myself a light pick. It's pretty thin, as you can see. Look how thin that baby is. And sort of put it to the test on a well-known piece that requires a lot of strumming.
Yes, but before our guru gives us a treat and plays us a tune or a portion thereof, um, we're going to elaborate on a point that, or a few points we made last time. So let's hear that.
Okay, we're going to sort of use this opportunity, this video, to sort of a tie-in to some of the previous postings we've had. As you all know, I'm sure by now, that the guitar on the left is my Telecaster, and the guitar on the right is a left-handed guitar that I bought on pretty much a whim about 10 or about maybe 12 years ago. I was going to relearn how to play the guitar left-handed because I'm left-handed, but I learned originally right-handed, and I decided I would be a better guitar player. Well, I practiced about 3 times on this guitar, and frankly, it was so awkward to me that I just sort of gave up on it. We talked last time about the pickups. These are pickups right here and right here.
Yeah, and of course, the pickups are what picks up the vibration in the strings and turns it into noise or sound or music. So the pickups actually are extremely important to the sound created by the guitar.
And over here, and on the typical Telecaster, which is this guitar, there are 2 pickups. On Stratocasters, there are typically 3. Now, the guitar on the right is not a true Fender Stratocaster. It's designed like one, but it's not a Stratocaster. Telecasters are sort of like workhorse guitars. They're kind of a little known to be a little twangy. A lot of country musicians like, but they have appeared regularly in rock as well. Strats are, I mean, some of your great blues guitarists are known for using Strats. Stratocasters are like everywhere. They're sort of like a pervasive, but you can tell it's not a true Stratocaster because the what's that? The up there at the nut. Yeah, all Fender products have the all the screws are up on the top, and you can see it's on both sides. That's more like something you'd see on a Gibson right there. But in any event, and I pointed out last time, the Telecasters have 2 pickups, whereas the Strat styles have 3. Now, what's interesting about this guitar is it's got 3 of them, but not only that, but this back set looks to me like they're humbuckers. These are single coil. These are single coil pickups. And they go back since the beginning of guitars, sort of the original design. The one problem that they have is that at really high outputs, they develop what's known as a hum, and that gets sort of into the subject matter of Gibsons, but actually we can sort of address it here because these look like, to me, like, I don't know for sure, but I think these are humbuckers. These are dual coil, double coil, and they're called humbuckers because they were designed to solve that problem of the humming. And if you'll notice on this baby, whereas the
Telecaster has 3 positions for the front, the back, and then the middle position just picks up both pickups. On this, it has 5 positions. Let's see if we can do this. It's back, and then there. That's straight up and down. There's actually 5 positions, one for each pickup, and the one in the middle picks up all of them, I believe. I've never actually plugged that guitar in because, well, frankly, it's been in storage. But and right now it's not. The strings are a little messed up, so and I've got the back end of it apart. But I've been thinking about using this guitar to get it fixed and then open tuning it to either E or G and trying to learn a little slide guitar on it, playing a left-handed guitar in a right-handed manner.
Okay, now this first group here, we're going to see a Gibson SG first, a Gibson Les Paul, two very, I mean, a lot of rock musicians, a lot of musicians generally, but especially with respect to the SG, is especially sort of a lot of rock musicians use it. I think Jerry Garcia used an SG. Pete Townsend did at live at Leeds. But the Les Paul, like Jimmy Page, for example, is very associated with the Les Paul. This is a Les Paul, and of course you're familiar with the Stratocaster and the Fender.
So forth. Okay, lest I give anyone the misimpression out there, there are a lot of really fine guitar manufacturers. I talk about Fenders and Gibsons as if they're the only guitarists in the world. I do that simply to simplify things because they're sort of the two premier brands that represent sort of the single coil pickup versus dual coil humbucker, and then later on, well, P90s are actually single coil, but they're a different case. But they're sort of like, I sort of view them as sort of like the Ford and Chevy for all you old timers out there. But there are other fine manufacturers, like in the old days, a lot of like the Birds and all that they liked, and Tom Petty even used it a lot. Was like Rickenbacker's. Pete Townsend used one. There's of course Epiphone. There's Gretsch. I think George Harrison was a big Gretsch fan, but Paul Reed Smith. I know I'm going to forget people. That one guitar I showed you a picture of was actually is made by Dean. But there are a ton of them, and they're fine guitars. I mean, but I'm just sort of trying to simplify the discussion. But apologies to all the other manufacturers out there. No offense intended.